Hey everyone, let me just check if we're live. I think so, just to make sure. There's quite some delay here. I'm sure it's okay. I will hear it when it comes in. First of all, welcome at this February live stream. Today we're going to talk about the Volvo V70, and I want to apologize because I haven't been very active on this channel lately. It's because I'm busy. I'm studying for IT certifications and have a full-time job, and I have a kind of a family. So it's been busy, but that doesn't mean I will not stop with this channel ever, because I like to make content, and that will never stop. So apologize for this month and maybe next month, March, but I will keep on going. But I got a very special video for you today. Just check if we're live. I think so. Okay, this is fine. It works. So we're back in business. I hope all of you are doing fine. Myself, as you know, I'm quite busy doing this Volvo brand, and the most practical car, and especially when you look at the Netherlands, where I'm from, is the car that from Volvo that's the most popular is the V70, because it's very practical. And the V70 is basically the continuation of the 850 from the 90s. Maybe we can dive in that a little bit as well, but today for this video I want to dive into the V70. So without any further ado, let's just go there. We select Volvo, and it's a very practical car, and basically this is the car that fits anybody. You know, people that have to carry stuff around, or your local accountant, dentist. It's a classless car, I would almost say. And you can pick them up for relatively cheap, but they can also go very high to the T6 all-wheel drive models, which are glorious actually. If you're looking for a station wagon, which is for a long time what's more popular than an SUV, especially here in Europe, then this was the when you didn't want the German car, then this was the best alternative, in my opinion. Many five cylinders, six cylinders. Now, when I come to think about it, the S80 had a V8 from Yamaha. We talked about that last live stream. And what is the biggest motor in the V70? I actually don't know. Let's just take a small peek. V70. Wikipedia, because that's always trustworthy. So this is the last generation that run until 2016, and there haven't been a V70 yet, so that's 8 years ago. And now they have the V90 and the S90, which is the sedan version. And the first generation came onto the market in 96, so that's the 90s. I mean, you might remember this car from Gustavo Fring, you know, for the guys that watch Breaking Bad, and what's the lawyer, Better Call Saul, yeah. You know, the villain drove in a car like that, and I appreciated that because it's still a nice car. It still has quite some stance, not as much as a German car or a big American muscle car, yes, granted, but this is kind of the car that you don't expect the villain to drive, and that's why I think it's so great. Yeah, so this is the first generation. They came with six cylinders, but we're looking for five cylinders, and I'm looking for the engines. Yeah, so 2 liters, 2.5 liters. Let's see. Displacement, so 2 liter. Where you see the cylinders, you don't. But they also had a 2 liter 5 cylinder. So B5, the 5 is standing for the family of straight 4, straight 5, and straight 6. All right, so they had all of those, but I'm looking for the biggest motor, the biggest engine, probably all 5 cylinders. Yeah, diesels, 2 diesels, bi-fuel. Let's see, T5 for the first generation. Let me see, because this generation had a this generation, the second generation, they had a T6, which was a straight 6, I think a 3 liter straight 6 turbo. Let's check. Okay, let's just go back. It's not very clear, and see what how much money you need to spend to acquire a V70. And this is the bottom of the barrel. So 450 for a 2.4 5-cylinder, but it says the engine is broken. So you never know what's going to happen. But for 450, you can buy yourself one. Maybe you need to replace the engine. That costs you 2-3K and you have a car, but this is kind of a hobby project, I would say. If you want to drive straight off the lot, then don't go for a car like this. Yeah, just for the sake of it. So this is actually the second generation V70. Didn't see the engine. I think it's a 2.4. Yeah, there's so many choices out there, and this one looks pretty used, pretty used, and it's imported as well. It's the 140 version of the 5-cylinder, the 2.4. I heard a mechanic once say this is one of the best engines in the world, actually. I mean, almost 2.5 liters, 5 cylinders, only 140 horsepower. That means that this car has a big tolerance, you know, and these cars drive half a million kilometers, up to upwards of 7, 8, 900,000 kilometers. Of course, you need to do maintenance with everything, but that's quite an achievement. How many? We have 770. So that means there is plenty of choice for, and the Netherlands is a small country. That means we have plenty of choices when it comes to V70. That says enough. We're a V70 country, and we have been since the late 90s, early 2000s, and it didn't change. Almost on every street corner here in the Netherlands, you can find a V70. Why? They're practical, they're reliable, they're durable, and Volvo always been kind of an underdog also when it comes to the prices. Nowadays I own a Volvo for a couple of years already. I wouldn't say going to the dealer itself is cheap, but at least you know what's going on. And one of the weak spots of the 2.4 5-cylinder is also related to the oil filter housing. Actually, with my S40 from 2007, there's a rubber has been, dried up or destroyed or anything, and you can replace the rubber, but I might as well just replace the whole oil filter housing, and that's what I'm gonna do. And it's gonna cost me around 650 to 700 euros with labor included, and it's quite a big bill, but I'm just willing to do that because my car is now, it's 17 years old or something like that. Yeah, 17 years old. So that means that the first part lasted 17 years. If the second part, if this new part also lasts 10 years, then it basically means that I can have this Volvo for another 10 years. With the electrification, they're going to make it more difficult on you, but I don't drive them many miles no more. I actually never did. Only a few years that I had the car, I drive a lot, and it's that reliable. Yeah, fuel economy in the city is not very good. It's not up to the modern day standards anymore, but when you get to the highway, it's more acceptable, and it's just a long distance cruiser, and that's what I want to use my car for. No small distances, just long distance. And then I don't really care about the fuel consumption because it's only just this one particular event that I need to spend more on gas, and I'm fine with that. It's that reliable. It has a nice sound and quite torquey. Like you can tell, I really love Volvo 5-cylinders. Moving on. So this is 650. It doesn't say anything wrong with the engine. It's the 2.4 5-cylinder with a turbo. From 2000 is when this second generation was introduced, so it's one of the early production models. 471,000 kilometers already on the clock, which is, it's a lot, but you can put 200,000-300,000 more on it. Of course, you need to invest in it when you buy a car from 650. It's not like, you're settled. You you need to invest another 1,000 or 2 or 3,000 in it, but then you're good to go. And you still, for less than 4K, you got a family sedan that had some history that you don't need to be super careful with, because it's probably already scratched up and already carried one family from all the soccer practices and whatever for many years, and it served as a vacation vehicle. So it's been used. But look at this. I mean, apart from this trailer hitch, I think it's a beautiful car. I really, Volvo always has the kind of, you're like a math teacher, or you're like a dentist or whatever, like this kind of image. But I don't care about that. I really don't. Nobody bats an eye at this car twice and thinks it's something special. But the owner that drives it and that drives it a lot loves the car. And that's all that matters in the end anyway. So look at it. Maybe it's a biofuel. I don't know what this is, but we'll look at it. 24-year-old interior. Ooh, a touch of class over here. Look at this. I mean, how many beer can you transport? Right? And if you need to move out the kids, I mean, they go studying somewhere in the other side of the country. I bet you only need to drive twice to get all the stuff there. When you need to go on vacation, you see how much luggage you can fit in there, and it's a great, comfortable cruiser. Okay, you can't beat the German fast Audis or BMWs or Mercedes on the Autobahn, but it doesn't matter. 160 kilometers on the cruise control, and you will get there. That's what I appreciate, but really appreciate about these cars. It's a warning light here. It's something, parking brake is on, service light is on. Something with the airbag, or maybe, yeah. Very basic instrument cluster from the early 2000s, late 90s Volvo. They still have this instrument cluster digitally now in the modern Volvos. It's very clear, very readable at night, in the daytime. Volvos are just a tool. And you see this car has been heavily used. This is the 200 horsepower version of the 5-cylinder because it has the turbo. From June 2000, LPG, liquid petroleum gas. So for lots of those miles, it's been driving on gas instead of petrol. Yeah. When you drive lots of miles, of course, this is the cheap alternative. When you don't want to drive that many miles after you buy this car, I would go for a petrol version instead. I mean, if you buy this car and you would want to put 100,000 kilometers on it, which is not a whole lot, then it would be fine. For 650. I mean, I would look at the car, would drive it and experience it. For 650, I think there's still some work to be done, but you don't know. You have a check engine light. You'd never know what that is. Maybe something to do with the cylinder head, with the block. You don't know what it is. But in the basis, these 2.4s, they are bulletproof, really. And I don't have any stock of Volvo or anything, but I'm, my first car was a Volkswagen Polo, right? And why a Polo? Because I wanted the VW, because that's kind of the base when it comes to German cars, and I really love German cars. But there was something wrong with the Polo. I don't know what kind of history it had, probably shady or whatever, but I've been driving down the road and so many times the oil light flashed. So I check and I pour in half a liter, sometimes 2 liter, and the car was just using and burning a lot of oil. When you check the VW forums, they said, "Oh, it's normal, it's okay, it's an engine car characteristic." And even for Audi and Seat, they say the same thing. With Volvo, I don't have that issue. And for me, that means a lot. I mean, oil, yeah, it's expensive, but it's cheaper than replacing parts on an engine, right? So I can live with that to a certain degree. But if an engine doesn't burn any oil, it gives me a little bit more confidence, right? And I was thinking of after the Polo going for a VW Passat, or going for BMW or Mercedes Benz, but I didn't. My brother bought a Volvo, and I sit in it and I drive it in from time to time. It's a different world. It's just different than the Germans, and yeah, I can't stress it enough. I fell in love with the brand. Even the new S60, and I love the S90 and the V90 as well. I think they're just beautiful, beautiful put together. It's just a shame that it's only 4 cylinders now, but hey, that's there's still plenty of old Volvos to be picked up, and when you take care of them, they will serve you well. So this is one of the last model years of the first generation that run from 96 until 2010. This is a V70. I think it's a rebranded 850 actually. And this one already been around the block. 500,000 kilometers on it. A little bit under €1,000. And look at it. Is it ugly? Oh, this is even older. Okay. But we're talking about this one. Okay, they shine the rims and they cleaned it very properly, but I think it's still a looker, right? I mean, it's old, yes, but if you need a car from time to time, it needs to be practical. And even if it's for a summer holiday or a winter holiday, just driving through the Alps and going back and still try to sell it or keep it for a while, it's fine. Yes, it's old, yes, it's been lived through, but I'm sure it still brings you to the destination. And I really appreciate that. There's nothing wrong with this. And think about it, this is less than 1,000. Let's say you spend 5 times as much. I mean, 5,000, you got yourself a good car. There's no German car, no Japanese car that can beat that. Yeah, maybe a Japanese car is a little bit more reliable, but I'm sure a Volvo from this generation is more reliable than more German cars. I really think so. I really think so. Volvos are quite reliable. We talk about Volvos, we talk about Mercedes-Benz diesels because they're also quite bulletproof. But it's just from the engineering standpoint, it was just make a very good car and make sure that the tolerances in the engine is quite high. You know, that means that the engine don't need to work that hard. Don't make it super complicated. Back then, when they make these cars, when they introduced a car in 2000, that means that most of the 90s they were doing research. And in the 90s, environmental aspects of the production process and the design were not a factor. They were just thinking, how can I make the best engine that puts us on the map, right? Volvo was already doing this for many, many years, and they had many great successes with many models. But this is the time when the 5-cylinder was there, and it became a cult following. It was like a unique selling point to Volvo, actually. And those engines is just, they're very good. Those engineers knew what they were doing. And when you say Volvo, you still think 5-cylinders. Many people still think so. Because the new ones, the 4-cylinders, they're more geared towards the lease market. People that just drive them for many, many kilometers each year until the contract runs out and they get a new car. So there's less feel to this. But when you bought a V70 in 2000, I'm sure a lot of people, well, quite a lot of people still own them to this present day. Because they can, because they will, you know, they will last, and they grow up with you. There are many stories of little kids on the back seat in the Volvo end up owning the car because their dad passed the Volvo on to them. I mean, that's fantastic. It's the same with a Rolex watch. My dad bought one in the 80s, and now for my 30th birthday, he gave me this Rolex. And it will last you still a lifetime. There's certain things of engineering and cars that I just appreciate. That's just, in this modern day, it's not feasible anymore because nobody makes any money. But I know we can do it. We can do it. We can build a very reliable car nowadays with all the knowledge of 100 years of automotive history. We can do this. We choose not to do it because nobody makes any money. And that's just a sad reality. As a guy that loves cars and engineering, I think that's a very sad development. Let's go over some of the cars. Let's keep on going here. TDI. I don't know if that's from Volkswagen or they had their own turbo diesel injection cars going on, but 97. Yeah, who drives diesel nowadays? I mean, you can buy a car like this if you can put 300,000 kilometers on it. Yes, you need to put money in it, but you buy a car like this for 1250 in euros. I mean, think about it and look at what you get. I mean, yeah, it's been around the block, definitely. Here you have a window wiper, and here it's gone, and the Volvo logo is gone. It's probably had a tough life, but this is bottom of the barrel stuff, right? This is really the bottom of the barrel. I'm sure it still runs. So a 2.5 liter 5-cylinder diesel with 140 horsepower. Yeah, these kind of cars, man, you can feed them crap and they still run. You can beat on them, they will still run. It's just the tolerances on engines like these are just so ridiculously high because they want to make a good engine that every retard can drive and beat on and not break. That's how you build a brand. That's how you build a reputation for yourself. And that's what they understood there in the 80s, in the 90s, and the 2000s. Yeah, guys, I'm getting old. I realize that, but I just can't stress it enough how much I hate these modern times when it comes to automotives. It's just a consumption thing. I buy a car now, in 5 to 10 years, it's a total write off. And at a certain point in time, let's say I drive it from 0 to 150k, then all the bills come in because all the parts they tend to fail at a certain point. It's all because these accountants and all these people have been tweaking everything to the millisecond. I hate that. It has nothing to do with love for the automotive industry. It has nothing. It's only money. And I understand people need to make money, but I know that we're better as human beings. Besides the whole capitalistic system we live in, I'm not a communist. I understand this system, and I appreciate it, and I understand it. But when it comes to cars, I don't appreciate it. I just want you to build a good car that can last, because actually that's more durable than buying a new electric car every so often. That's my environmental rant. Let's just keep on moving. Let's say, for instance, we want to check what the most expensive car is in the Netherlands. €30,000 is the most expensive V70 in the Netherlands. 2016, 8 years old, 100,000 kilometers driven. It's a 2-liter T4, so it's just a 2-liter 4-cylinder. This is already a different generation. This is the last year that Volvo made the V70, and this is kind of a run-out model then. Still pretty, but I think it's a 2-liter 4-cylinder without a turbo. Think about it, 30k is not much. Yeah, is it much? Maybe. But it's not a 5-cylinder, I think. But we'll look at it. We'll look into this. It's an inscription model. You see, it's already more digital. So this is basically one of the last generations of this is the last generation of V70 and the last model here. That's how I should put it. Standkachel means that you can already start up the car. It will heat up the car. It will defrost the car, especially handy when you have these harsh winters. Volvo style. I like it. Navigation, speech, turn on the heater, turn off the heater, exit. Look at this. This look ancient, but it's 8 years ago. Then you can see how much technology can affect the car. It's 8 years old and it already look ancient. That's crazy. City safety, yeah, it probably got everything on it. Automatic. Okay, let me check. So this is a 2 liter, yes. Where can I get more info? Yeah. Accessories, safety, start stop system, media. What about the engine? What about the engine? Specifications. 6-speed automatic. Road legal until the 1st of March. Then you need to have another inspection. So I would wait a few days. Today it's 17 February. Yeah, doesn't matter. If you buy this car, you need to have it inspected right away. Or you need to buy it right now. It's not imported, which is a big plus. That means that all the history is still, within the Netherlands. When a car comes from Germany or France and is imported, a lot of things get lost, even though we are the European Union. So 4-cylinder, 2-liter, 191 horsepower. It does have a turbo. It's kind of the same power output as my father's B200 turbo. It's a pretty torquey engine, I would say, and even for a car like this, but it's quite 1500, 70 kilo. Let's see if we got something special. 2006, a 2.5R. Yeah, this is eye candy. I mean, Volvo will never be like this no more. Look at this. I mean, it's either hate it or love it. And in the beginning, I didn't bet much of an eye when it comes to cars like this, but I really started to appreciate cars like this. I really do. It's just something about it. It's so clean and cool and understated that it's so cool. This morning I walked to the city center and I saw an old W140 Mercedes-Benz, which is the S-Class from the 90s. It wasn't white, it was covered in dust, it was gray from the exhaust fumes, and it had some rust here and there. But still, the stance of the car makes it's so ugly that it's beautiful. But this is something else. This is, when you're so focused on German cars or American cars or Honda or Toyota, whatever, if you're blind, this is so cool. This is something else, and think about it. This design is from 2000. That's 24 years old. It still looks amazing. Look at this. I think it's really sexy, actually. Beautiful rims, nice paint job. It's just, I love this car. I really do. I would rather buy something like this than, let's say, the first S6 or anything like that. I don't know if the R is very good, but a T5, I think that's where it's at. But still, this looking really, really beautiful. You got something special. Nice seats. Look at this. It just makes you happy. I'm sure it drives well. I think power output is in the 300 horsepower range, but we'll check. This is clean. So it's an automatic gearbox, and this is a sport setting. Probably stays in the revs a bit higher than. Quite clean. And it didn't. If this is real, not even 200,000 kilometers, then you still got many, many, many years with a car like this. And this era of Volvo will never come back. I think for me, this is the pinnacle of Volvo. I don't really care too much about very old Volvos. I'm not that of a puristic guy. I like the 90s and the 2000s, actually. And yeah, if I had to have a lease car right now, I would look at a Volvo as well, but not necessarily, because what they got in the lease is not very interesting. Let's go to specs, all right? So 2006, 6-speed auto. Euro 4, 70 liters. It's a 5-cylinder with a turbo. Here, I have a 5-cylinder, right? But this is the 2.5, I have the 2.4. I have 140 horsepower. This has the 2.5 with a turbo. So you see the potential of the car. That's more than, yeah, that's more than double. That you see the tolerances on engines like these are high. And this means that they are reliable. I mean, you can beat on them, you can trash them, and they won't move, they won't budge. You know, it's fine. It's fine. So let's see if this is imported, because otherwise it's really just a steal. Ah, it is imported. Damn it. Yeah, in the Netherlands, nobody would buy a car like this. They would rather go for fast Audi, BMW, or Mercedes. They would never consider this car. So you have to import it. But yeah, it really depends on if they have the, again, I've been saying this all streaming videos. It really depends on the history, the history of the car. You know, if they have a history that matches. If they did, if Volvo claims that you need to, you know, service a car every 15,000 kilometers, they need to be able to see, okay, 0 to 15k, 15 to 30, 30 to 45. You know, you need to have a stamp, and you need to have actually an invoice of everything. Then you got a well documented car. That's what I mean with service history. So you're able to see what they did. And also small things. What kind of tires are they put on the car? An A grade tire, or B or C or D? Did they put some Chinese rubber on there, or some, you know, Pirellis or Dunlops, whatever? Some good premium quality stuff, or some cheap stuff? It really means a lot. You know, that's the difference between a car enthusiast or just a poser, basically. That's all I can say. So, okay, here we have another R, a V70, Polar, 2016 as well. Ooh, this looks great. Okay, let me take a sip of beer before we're gonna, oh, my God, look at this shit. Mm. V70 3-liter T6 all-wheel drive R design. Heiko, so it's probably tuned. 100 cars were produced, and this is number 15. That's how I read it. It has a roof that can slide off, and it has a trailer hitch. This is beautiful. This is one of the last Mohicans, you know, when it comes to Volvo. They will never build something like this no more. And when you have a car like this, you're gonna love it. You're gonna enjoy it every day. Might not be great in the bands, will not give you great feedback, but a Volvo is the sound, it's the torque, it's the great seats. It's the great seats, and just enjoy this stuff. Mm, I guess I need to call somebody back. It's always nice when you do a live stream. Let me see. This is the best V70 you can buy in the Netherlands. We go over some engine specifications. Let's see. 140. This is very clean, very nice. Look at the engines, look at the seats, fantastic. 340 horsepower, 6-cylinder, 3-liter with a turbo, fantastic. I think I need to call somebody back. I don't know what it is, but yeah, we gotta quit this live stream. You see the 3 liters, the T6 is what I just said in the introduction. This is like top of the stack. This is the best you can buy. They have 4 cylinders, a lot of 5 cylinders, and different power output. and they have this 3-liter 6-in-line with a turbo, which is top of the build T6. And the car I just reviewed, that's basically, you know, the best there is. This is our design, and Summon is basically a full spec Volvo when you talk about Summon. And this is also looking great. 2011, yeah, a bit over 100,000 kilometers. And look at this. Look at this. I mean, this is such a nice cruiser, and you have plenty of seats, plenty of space for the whole family. I pick this over an SUV every day, every day. We're gonna quit our live stream. I need to call somebody back, but just know, guys, I'm gonna make videos regardless. I'm quite busy, but I'm doing better and better and better, and I will just keep on making these videos until YouTube don't exist anymore. Basically, I can assure you that. So have a great weekend. Thanks for listening and looking, and wish you all the best. Thanks for watching.